So generally, we always say that when the relationship is good or when the times are going good, we learn little bit. But when the times are not good, the times are challenging, or maybe in a joint venture where the relationship is not good, or maybe it ends up in a breakup, then at that time we learn more.
So it was not a one culture, two culture. There's three cultures. We got a Indian culture, North Indian culture. We got a South Indian culture and a Korean culture.
Say when we talk about North, we are talking about Hindi, then we were talking about Tamil, and then we are talking about a Korean or a Japanese language. So, how much important is the role of language in any joint venture? So, he has touched upon a very interesting topic that is about the currency. And the currency fluctuates depending upon different scenarios. It can be war, it can be COVID, it can be the financial situation. When we talk about governance, does it means that whatever we are saying we are actually doing it also? Means whatever is written means we believe in that, and then somebody can trust
Yes.
on that, the way in which we are trusting them. You used a very interesting word, iron curtain, and then you also talked about the question mark, which is there. And I think both are related to each other. Say, for example, in context of Europeans that you said. Hi, friends. My name is Bhavya Mangla, and back again on the 44th episode of Unfiltered Conversation. We started this series with the objective of talking to different professionals, understanding their perspective of life, learning something from them, and to see that how we can implement certain things what they have done already in their life. In today's episode, I have a very, very interesting guest. His name is Mr. Vinay Maheshwari, who has experience of more than 45 years. He started his career in 1975. I was only 5 years old at that time. And so far, he worked in many big multinational groups and Indian companies. And still, at the age of 70, is very active, working at least 5 days a week and giving challenge to anyone and everyone. He has been responsible for many joint ventures with respect to European companies, Japanese, and Koreans. Now, each type of company has got their own challenges, own benefits, and different type of techniques and ways how to deal with them. So, in these episodes, the main focus will be to discuss about how we can make all these joint ventures successful and what can be the secret mantra with respect to that. Mr. Maheshwari, welcome.
Hi, Mr. Bhavya. It was really interesting to talk to you, and it is good that we are talking on a subject which is very close to my heart. So I definitely like to share whatsoever I understand, I know. Thank you. Thank you for inviting me on this show.
Yeah. So, Mr. Maheshwari, if we talk in context of India, I think in the last 25, 30 years, the number of joint ventures has increased tremendously. And it is also being seen that there are many joint ventures who have been successful. There are many who are not. There are many who are successful, but after a while they decided that, okay, now we don't need to continue together. And then in a good faith, they decide to part ways. But then there are many such joint ventures where there's a lot of difficulty when they were working together, and whether very bitter experiences there. Now, since you have a long experience and you have dealt with different joint ventures, what is your experience so far in your career?
See, Bhavya, the joint venture is something like a marriage, and a marriage which needs to be successful. So anybody whosoever looks for like a marriage in India, we want it to be successful. So we in India we go in detail, do lot of due diligence, lot of going in detail, and so does anybody, any partner. So first thing in any joint venture is really a confidence in each other is more important. Uh, I had a chance to work, as you have already said, that work with the Japanese companies to have a joint venture with them. I've done two joint ventures with Japanese companies. I work with European companies. I work with Korean companies, and every time I did a joint venture, it was definitely a unique experience, and unique to the extent that uh, it is like doing a wedding into South India, North India, Punjab, or doing a love marriage. Sometimes marriage is arranged and you only have to sign a paper. Sometimes we have done a joint venture like this, that two owners met and they said, okay, look, it's so interesting. We should form a joint venture. And then they told us, okay, go and sign that, make the documents. It was also interesting. Although while making documents, we went through all the things as required to be, due diligence required to be done. But in some cases, although both partners were willing to do, but down the line, team, we worked so hard and did such a big due diligence that it took sometimes 6 months, sometimes. In fact, in Japanese company, it took more than 1 year for me to sign the joint venture agreement. So starting is the important, as I said, is having a commitment to each other and having a open faith in each other is important.
So you talked about love marriage and arranged marriage, that there are certain joint ventures wherein somebody told you that, okay, everything is done, now you go ahead with that. But there are certain things where you explore, you understand each other, you try to find out whether you like it or not. The other party also said, and then it was decided. So just like love marriage and arranged marriage, in terms of joint venture, which works better?
See, as I said, one company took 1 year, one company took almost 2 years. Why? Because see, they don't go in details. I mean, if I compare between Japanese, Koreans, and Europeans, so Japanese will take a lot of time. Each and every paper has to be scrutinized, and I mean, they are very well known for this. That they will spend 5 hours preparing for a tool and maybe 1 hour for making a component because they plan. And I really learned a thing with them that you have to plan very detailed planning to be done. So that is what Japanese are known for, and I think is very good thing. To have a detail. I mean, it's minutest detail. That where is the land? What is the land? I'm just giving one example. We go into detail of water. We go into detail of soil. Okay, we do everywhere, but then they like we do when we buy a land. We go 30 years record. They sometimes say no, go for 50 years record. So a lot of detailing to be done because ultimately we feel it is a long-term relationship. And if it is a long-term, if it is on a strong foundation, then definitely it will stand there at a matter of time.
And if you look into your experience of past years with respect to the joint ventures, have you seen any particular reason that this was one key reason that this joint venture did not work or it worked? So can you share some example with respect to that?
See, one thing, yes, I have got, let's say, I have got three joint ventures which are continuing, good joint ventures. And why it is working is that we have got undisputed faith in each other. So, as a board of director and board of them, as a director, when we meet, we have a faith. Okay, if they are talking something, it is important, and if I'm talking, we don't cross question each other. We both of us, also directors, look for the focus that how the company is performing, how it has to improve, and that's how it works on. And in one of the places, yes, there one joint venture failed because of little disagreement, and that's a learning for us that the partners were looking for expanding in India, and the business was not growing. And then we realized that they are looking for somebody else to expand. So we only talked to them, and we said, okay, if you're looking for expansion, and today is not the right time, we can go for expansion. They realized, okay, we know about it. So in sooner or later, they said, okay, we would like to get out of it. Although they did not come back in India, they are not here. But they felt, okay, there's a little distrust, and that distrust cannot continue. So it was a very amicable separation, absolutely amicable. Even when I signed off the termination of agreement, after that 3 years, they kept on giving me technical service. And still today, I can talk to them and get the thing. But amicable, everything, as I said, again to be done in good confidence, faith, and a relationship has to be continued.
So generally, we always say that when the relationship is good or when the times are going good, we learn a little bit. But when the times are not good, the times are challenging, or maybe in a joint venture where the relationship is not good, or maybe it ends up in a breakup, then at that time we'll learn more. So maybe can you share some example wherein the joint venture didn't work well, and then you learned some important lesson?
Well, I'll give you an example of not running well, but as you said, the time is not good. So
Yeah.
in 2090, I mean, 1998, 99, we went through the Great Depression, the both Korea, Japan, Thailand, both the big bubble burst was there. And that time we signed up a joint venture agreement with a Korean company. And they went through very, very bad phase. The whole Korean economy, their won was trading around 18,000 won per dollar, came down to 12,000 won a dollar. So it was very, very bad situation. They were virtually at the verge of saying, okay, you're not going to invest. But they stand put. They said, no, we are going to invest. Uh, uh, as a partner, I said, look, the won has gone down. I have negotiated a machine with you in dollars. So why don't you think that it should be talked about the net won you are getting rather than net dollars I am spending?
So
And as a joint venture, they said, yes, this is important because whether they put in money, I put in money, we should see that even in a bad time, we are together. I told them, look, I can buy the same machine in India at the Indian cost, but since we are committed to buy a Korean machine and we are going to buy, and they said, yes, Mr. Maheshwari, it will not be easy for me to negotiate with that company because I am a Korean company and the machine supply is Korean. You negotiate with them and negotiate very hard with that. So that is the confidence he had. Even in a difficult time, he put a faith on me. You negotiate, and we could really spend good money. We saved good money, not me. The fact was that the faith in each other. So that is one of the example. The bad time, again, be together, work together is very important.
So he has touched upon a very interesting topic, that is about the currency. And the currency fluctuates depending upon different scenarios. It can be war, it can be COVID, it can be the financial situation. And something what was looking very rosy and very good for two companies who are coming together, maybe after a while that becomes something not suitable or not competitive for someone. So how to deal with the currency part, because it fluctuates. Like if you talk about India, at one point of time, the dollar, maybe around 10 years back, it was around 38, 39, but now it is 84, 85, 86. And you don't know what will happen tomorrow.
See, luckily for me, whatsoever joint venture we did, they've invested the money, and after that, there is no more investment. We are only running and giving them dividend. They're always happy. We give a dividend in dollars and convert that rupees into dollars, so they always get more money than they were getting against the same amount a year back. So they're always very, very happy that, okay, we are getting good dollars over there. Uh, but I think that once we have signed up with people, there's not much of the things. Even we as Indians, or we don't feel that that is should be an important. And if there's a saving coming, because if I am exporting something and I'm getting something, ultimately it goes to the company only, and the dividend gets converted to dividend.
And what about the culture part? Because like if we talk about India, India has a certain distinct culture. And when we talk about Europeans, when we talk about Americans or maybe Japanese or Korean, they have a very distinct cultures. There are certain things which is their strength, and there are certain things which is their weakness. When we see in context of India, so what kind of strategies that you need to employ that when you're having a joint venture, say with an American company or a European or a Korean or a Japanese company, what are the key differences or the different ways in which you have to see the different things while taking care with respect to the joint venture?
See, it is interesting point you touched, the culture. Basically, I did one of the joint venture with a Korean company, and it was supposed to set up in Chennai. So it was not a one culture, two culture. There's three cultures. We got the Indian culture, North Indian culture, we got a South Indian culture, and a Korean culture. And all three are language is different, culture is different, and they we used to always laugh at that. Except currency, everything else is different between India and between Delhi and Chennai. And still, we were able to cope it because it's a. If I say one thing very candidly is that any joint venture partner coming from East Europe, East Asia, I say, they will put India into a definitely question mark. You have to prove yourself to gain their confidence. They'll not come and say, okay, Mr. Maheshwari, you are from so-and-so company and we believe you. No. You have to create that belief. And that's very, very important. I feel it is not that difficult into a European or American partners. But anybody coming from Korea, anybody coming from Japan, they will see you from a question mark. uh, it happened with me that the Korean partners were, uh, because it was a joint venture with the automaker, and all the Korean companies were there coming there in Chennai, and because they keep on talking to each other. And since the procurement, I was the director for procurement. So I used to do the procurement. And every time my Korean partner, because this is the initial stage of, I said, putting up a project. So every time I used to say, Mr. Shin, would you like to see this paper? He said, no, you're signed, okay, give me the copy. I said, yes, always copy. So he used to take a copy always. I don't know what he used to do. And so after 6 months of my project was almost over, running. So I asked him, Mr. Shin, you took every paper from me for approval. You didn't sign a paper. You left everything for me to sign. But then what you used to do with those papers? He said, Mr. Maheshwari, we Koreans have a club here. And every time I used to sign a paper, my team used to say, what is the negotiated price you got? I want to know that because I am sure you got the best price available in Chennai. So that is the confidence he had. So he said every time I used to go, oh look, you are getting at 200 rupees, I am getting at 180 rupees. And everybody used to jump and surprise. In fact, one of my cement suppliers and came and told me, Mr. Maheshwari, please don't give your price to anybody. Everybody comes back to me and asks the same price. He told me, please make a purchase out of a different price. I can give you a discount later on. Because the reason was, I was able to put the confidence. So the confidence he could develop in me is very important. And after that, no looking back. To the extent that even when the joint venture was over, I put the project. I came back to Delhi. Their managing director said to my chairman, look, I want this man to come back and run this company as a CEO because we have a faith in him, not anybody. I'm not talking individual. It is basically individual is important, but the important is whosoever does it, developing that confidence is important.
Wonderful. So you touched upon two very interesting points. One is about, say, culture, and you talked about three culture: the culture of India, the culture of Korea, and the culture of a place like, say, Chennai, which has a different culture. And when we talk about culture, in a way, we are talking about three languages. Say, when we talk about North, we are talking about Hindi, then we are talking about Tamil, and then we are talking about a Korean or a Japanese language. So how much important is the role of language in any joint venture?
Very important. Very, very important. You should at least understand the basic words. I mean, if it is for me, like if I go somewhere outside, out of India, or let's say Europe, and somebody talks to me in Hindi, I always feel elated. I will feel happy. Oh, somebody is there. At least, even if he speaks 3 words, I'm happy. Similarly, it's important for you to know those basic words and talk to your partners in those languages. I mean, I have seen very successful joint ventures as persons, those who can speak very fluent Japanese, very fluent Koreans, they have learned it on the process and they have become successful. I couldn't be that fluent in Japanese or Koreans, but at least one thing I made sure that I understand and they understand what I'm speaking. So my partners were good enough to learn quickly both Hindi and Tamil. I was quick enough to learn both Tamil and Korean. And so we all had a very happy life.
And why language is important? Why our common language is important?
Said English is a language which can communicate. But only communication is not important. You have to work into the sentiment of an individual.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, you have to talk to in the native language. You know, when I went to Tamil Nadu, I mean, it was difficult. The language are definitely interesting and difficult for me to understand. So I told my personal manager that every day you have to teach me one Tamil word. So he used to come back in my white room, write on a whiteboard a word in Tamil. Tamil means English Tamil. And I used to write in Hindi, what does it mean? And I used to use that word all throughout the day to learn that word, to how to use it. And they used to laugh, but I used to know when the words to be used. And please believe me, mine was the only company where there was no labor union for initial 7 years. Only place, because I could connect with the workman to the extent that I can talk to them about their grandmother, I can talk to them their parents, family, sisters, and all that. and relate with them. So it's important. Important is to know the language.
And what about the third angle, the Korean angle, their language? How much knowing their language is important, and how much it is important for Koreans to understand in English or maybe Hindi or maybe Tamil?
Koreans are good for English, dude. And they are, see, as I said, East Asians are very reserved. They're very not coming forward very easily. So, for if you want to enter, it is an iron door. So you have to develop a relationship to that extent. I had one example. I give you that. One night we were working with the Korean partner. I mean, you can find that in my blog also. But I was working with him late in the night up to 11:30. In fact, in the evening he said, "Mr. Vaishwa, this job has to be completed. You committed to complete this job today." I said, "Yes." There's still 4 hours left. So 4 hours left. I said, "Yes, you have to sit here till 12 before I complete and we assign this paper jointly." So he was little not well, but he said, okay. He stayed there till 11:30 and I signed up the paper. We signed the paper. I said, "Look, Mr. Shin," I said, "this was to be done and this is done today." Uh, Somehow he was not well. So in the night itself, he fell ill. He went to the hospital. He was hospitalized. And I went to the hospital. I arranged everything for him from medicine to doctor and everything. And he was hospitalized for 3 days. Fourth day, when he came back, he was a different guy. Because I touched all his sentiments. I touched all his personal values. I went out of the way to help him, support him. And when a person is sick, he looks towards you. So after that, it changed. So coming back to that, they are reserved. They will not easily allow you to enter in that field, in that area. But once it is a handshake is done, it is absolutely no limits. Very, very, you can have it nicely.
Yeah. So you used a very interesting word, iron curtain, and then you also talked about the question mark, which is there. And I think both are related to each other. Say, for example, in context of Europeans that you said, that whatever you are saying, they don't trust. And you have to earn their trust, only then they agree that, yes, whatever you are saying is going to be done. But why it is so that with Indian companies, say, in context of Europeans, they don't trust and they always have a question mark?
See, it is not. It is an experience. Unfortunately, if I put the other way around, today the experience of maybe their experience with dealing with Indian company, 80% is bad, 20% is okay, okay. I talk about this company, the Korean company. They came with a big question mark, and they said everybody is not to be believed. Is one thing they had told when they came here. But today, if you tell somebody that what you want to do, no, in India, if you have to believe, you have to believe 100% because their experience has been good. So, based upon their experience, they will form their opinion. But by and large, you are right. Even today, we have deficit of trust with any partner. We have to prove it and then have it. But yes, initially, there's a challenge on this.
So is it true with all the countries that they have a deficit of confidence, or is it more with respect to Indian companies that this challenge is there? Or it can be vice versa also, that how much confidence you have on any European or American company when you're having a joint venture, that whether they are good. Because in a way, at the moment, we are talking more in context of India. But what about them? Why an Indian company trust a European or an American company?
See, I think the basic difference is the governance. In India, somehow the governance is still a word little loosely used, unfortunately. So if you have a good governance mechanism, nobody will have any problem. But Europe has a lot of good governance. So there's nothing, you don't, and they're highly professional. They focus on what they're talking, they're working. There's nothing personal into it. In India, everything is first personal, then professional. And that's why the gap comes in. That you look for what is in it for me, and then you look for what is in it for my company. Where they say, what is it for my company, and that's all. There's nothing for me. So that's how the deficit, because of the good governance, the deficit is not there. In India, it is still there, but going out, because now a lot of companies are also focusing on governance. And once you have good governance, absolutely no issues.
So when we talk about governance, does it means that whatever we are saying, we are actually doing it also? Means whatever is written because we believe in that, and then somebody can trust
Yes.
on that, the way in which we are trusting them.
Yes.
And,
It's
and what
important.
are and what are the challenges generally all these companies face with respect to governance when we talk about India? Because you said that in India, still the governance word is being used loosely.
Yeah. Since challenges, yes. I mean, this is a system. I mean, it's not that they don't have a loose governance in their places also, but here it is uh, more of a personal relationship which works here. So sometimes if a system does not work, you go and relate and talk to them, find out somebody who can tell him do this job, and then the job can be done. And that's how they feel the gap of confidence between a personal relationship and an official relationship. There's a big gap. Yes. Whereas if you were anywhere in other countries, the gap is not there. It's a relationship which is one, which is purely professional relationship, not nothing on personal level. But India, good or bad, sometimes a lot of things get done because of the personal relationship. And that's where, I mean, my partner said, Mr. Maheshwari, please go and see that it is done. We don't know how it is to be done. So they left everything to you. Okay, go do it. But the fact is, it's not always good. The system should work. But unfortunately, yes, we're not able to still follow that path. But hopefully things are improving and will be better.
So if we talk about three success mantra for a joint venture, it can be a European, American, Korean, or Japanese. What do you think in context of India? What are the three success mantras which are required,
Good.
which are important?
Yeah. So, as I said, first is that the building up a trust. So, trust is one, right? Second is keeping your commitments. Whatsoever date, whatsoever plan, whatsoever thing you do, keep that commitment. Develop that confidence of keep maintaining the commitment. So, build the trust, maintain your commitment, and definitely do not challenge them unnecessarily. Neither do allow them to challenge yourself, not challenge them unnecessarily. Again goes back to one trust. So have a trust, meet your commitments, and obviously at the end, keep on giving dividends. Everyone will be happy.
So before we close, can you share any example, may not be which you have dealt, but maybe an industry that you have seen wherein because of certain things that joint ventures could not work and they could have done something differently? Any experience that you have, maybe personal or maybe in an industry that you must have seen?
Let's see again. I've seen one joint venture failing because of, as I said, the gap in communication. Because the gap into their vision. So if you do not have the same vision, you end up into failing anything. I mean, it's again going back to the first opening remark. It is a marriage. So
Yep.
it is important that both of you, this joint venture, this joint venture, look together and look in the same way. Then only it will succeed. It can move this way, it can move this way or this way. So it's important. The vision has to be met. So if you do not meet the vision, if you do not have same goals, we end up into failing the relationship.
Wonderful, wonderful, Mr. Maheshwari. I think we talked certain very good things. I think you very well explained and you aligned the joint ventures with the arranged marriage and a love marriage, wherein both can work and both may not work depending upon how it is set up. And I think you talked about the three key secrets, which are about trust, commitment, and confidence, which are important for running any good joint ventures. And then certainly the language, the culture, and the governance also play a very important role in the successful running of any joint venture. Thank you, Mr. Maheshwari. Thanks a lot for giving your time and sharing some very important thoughts with us. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhavya. It was interesting talking to you. I hope we keep on continuing on discussions. Thank you.